Okay, in the history of human civilization, I don't think anyone's ever linked these two people together before, okay? Emanuel Swedenborg and Mrs. Donovan. Now, first of all, most people have never even heard of Swedenborg, but he's well known in spiritual circles. He was a Swedish philosopher, theologian, and a very intelligent scientist. Some of the stuff that I love to work on, merging science and spirituality, he was really into several hundred years ago now. Brilliant, I think. He was quite controversial, but I love to read his stuff. He's very wise, okay? So he has a teaching that we're going to talk about, and Mrs. Donovan was the name of Charlie Brown's teacher. Okay, did you guys ever link Swedenborg and Charlie Brown's teacher together? But they teach the same thing, and we'll do that in a second. So Swedenborg said something years ago that's always stuck with me. I'm paraphrasing, but it's along the lines of, every word we speak is spiritual. Every time you speak, it's vibrational and therefore spiritual. You're sending a message in your words all the time. The words themselves barely matter. You know, I love you can mean absolutely nothing if you're trying to manipulate someone, okay? But the sincerity of the words I love you, if the spirit's backed in it, that's in the vibration of the words and the person can feel it. That's how we feel authenticity and feel people who are faking and anywhere in between, okay? And so words themselves, not that important. The way the words are used, the intention and the authenticity behind them, very important, okay? So all words are spiritual. Everything that you say is spiritual. And if you aren't being spiritual, which is just to say, let's say more ego-based, physical, that's also encoded in the words as well, because it's all vibration. Well, Mrs. Donovan was Charlie Brown's teacher, and what did she say? She never said any words. She just said, wah, 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 wah. That's all she ever said. And she said words, and you'd hear, because, you know, on the kid level, they interpreted whatever she was saying, but it wasn't about the words she was saying. The irony is, we're all Mrs. Donovan for the most part. Most of the words we use are waste if we don't use them in the direction of spirit. So we might as well be talking to each other, wah, 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 all the time. In fact, that's what it means in Corinthians when it says, if you have the voice of an angel but have not love, you are a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. So people might say very nice things, flowery speech and all that, but if love isn't backed behind it, well, guess what? It might as well be a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. And so the important part of the speech that we use is it the spirit behind it or is it not behind it? Okay. So I have here from the Course in Miracles a chapter that says the body as a means of communication. So let me read that to you here. It says that the Holy Spirit interprets the body only as a means of communication. Being the communication link between God and his children, the Holy Spirit interprets everything you have made in the light of what God is. The ego separates through the body, but the Holy Spirit reaches through it to others. You do not perceive your brothers as the Holy Spirit does, because you do not regard bodies solely as a means of joining minds and uniting them with yours and mine. This interpretation of the body will change your mind entirely about its value. By itself, it has none. So what is this Course in Miracles saying? That the body itself is Charlie Brown's teacher. The body itself is what Swedenborg said. It's just a means of communication. It's not all the physical things we think it is and all the things that we're obsessed with physically. Like Jesus says, John 66:63, the spirit gives life. It's the flesh that counts for nothing. Well, if you're using your body to transmit the energy of the spirit, then it's effective, then it's something. If it's not doing that, it's nothing, it has no meaning. So I have this drawing here. You have this very simple, sad person who's filled with negative energy. And it's the energy, whether it's through his behaviors, through his artwork, through his music, through the food that he makes, through the way he interacts, is transmitting a certain type of energy to this person over here. And the experience this person is going to have of this person is just the energy, no matter what he says or does. It cannot be faked. You cannot fool Mother Nature. This person, his day will feel a little different if he's not working on his own process. He's just going to feel the energy of another person, and he's going to be affected by it as a result. Because the body, the words, and everything associated with it just transmits that energy. And here you have a happier person. And that person's filled with this better energy. Right? And it gets transmitted to this person. This person feels better just from being around this person. And his energy lightens up a little bit. And again, these are two people otherwise not paying attention to the spiritual process. It's just what we experience all the time, all day long. We're always feeling the vibes of people. And then they say something to us, and it doesn't matter what they say, it's the energy in how they say it. And you'll feel it, you'll pick up on it. Now, this process is always happening all the time, and we see each other's bodies, and we use it, like the miracle says, to separate, usually, differences between people, between races and genders and politics and sports teams and all of that, okay? But all of it, all the time, is the potential to be transmitting spirit back and forth between people. That's really what we're here to do. Now, if you're going to do it the right way, and if you want to do it the right way, we get attached to or connected to this thing that we call God, God being love. And if you allow that inside of you, you are channeling this spirit and spreading it to someone else. And if this person doesn't want to get affected by it, this person also has the ability to get connected to that and can build a barrier, it'd be this one, a barrier against this type of energy. And that's it. We're just sort of jousting between light and dark all the time, between spirit and the ego process. And that's the only thing that's actually happening. Now, most of us don't think that's what the body's for. The truth is the body can become a vehicle for spirit all the time, and you're going to experience your life better if you're filled with the spirit. But that's not what it's for. You are here to be able to communicate with each other using your body as spirit. And then you can have the enjoyable benefits as a result.